Don't look now, boys and girls, but there's a full moon out tonight, and we are going behind Spain's Iron Curtain. Cue the air guitar. Hello, Heavy Metallurgy. My name is Alan, and I'm here today and very excited to review the new album from Iron Curtain. This band hails from Spain, and they have released their fifth album entitled Savage Dawn. It's coming to you February 23rd on Dying Victims Productions, a label that we always want to keep an eye on. They have a real knack for getting out some really cool, overlooked gems. And this album definitely counts as one of them. So I mentioned this is the band's fifth album, but it's my first time checking them out. I've worked back through a couple of albums a little bit since then because they've made a good impression. On the new album, Savage Dawn, Iron Curtain is definitely going full throttle all the way out, sort of, power speed metal, but in the grand 1980s new wave of traditional heavy metal kind of tradition. The songs are very fast paced, but extremely catchy, tight riffing, wild solos, vocals that are clear, but just a little bit gruff to give it a little bit of that kind of, coarse and dirty rock and roll feeling. Exactly what you want. I've heard some other people comparing this album to something like Motorhead, which, yeah, I can hear there's a dose of Motorhead in there. Personally, though, I would compare them more to the sound you got on a lot of like early and mid 1980s Euro metal. Think of things like Ostrogoth, Full Moon Eyes, for example. Just, that really, rolling, slightly out of control. Not sure if it's going to stay on the rails or not, but it's going to be a hell of a fun ride all the way through. The album takes off, right away with Devil's Eyes. And yes, if this doesn't, help you channel your old Gotham City or Ostrogoth records, then there is just no hope for you whatsoever. Check it out here. So yeah, they're off and running right out of the gate. Huge power chords, nasty tight riffs, great lead work, and a chorus that's going to get stuck in your head for ages. Exactly the way you want to open up your album. But they do not let off the gas, leading into track number 2 with Gypsy Rocker, which, yeah, really channels a little bit of kind of old Gotham City. If you played it at 78 RPMs and poured the band full of Red Bull before they plugged in that day. So yeah, the album's opened with a killer 1-2 punch, but wait, there's more. The next track, Thy Wolf, might be my favorite on the album. Just a great speed burner, and opens up, of course, with, classic wolf howl sound effect. The band is pulling out all the stops to make this an incredibly fun listen that you just can't stop headbanging and air guitaring to. All right, so we're almost halfway through this album, and I've got to say, this first side of the album is the most fun I have had listening to a heavy metal album since Bewitcher's Cursed Be Thy Kingdom came out a few years ago. This band is not doing, the blackened thrash or black and roll whatsoever. Again, it's just pure 1980s headbanging worship, but it's done oh so perfectly. Gotta love it. When you get into the second half of the album feels like it does settle in just a bit. The songs are still good. They're still following the same general template. They've got all kinds of fun little things thrown in here and there, such as a track called Rattlesnake, where they use the little fancy percussion thing to do the little kind of roll. They're having fun with it across all the tracks. Just feels like, yeah, they kind of maybe plateau a little bit after Thy Wolf. which is probably a good thing because even air guitarists need a chance to take a break and grab a drink of water from time to time. The album is only 38 minutes. There's 8 songs plus an intro plus an outro. So yeah, very compact. You get to the end of it, and immediate reaction is, wait, it's already over? Oh, shit. I was hoping for a little bit more. Uh, if there's going to be a slight knock against this track list, ending it on a kind of quiet outro piece, it's like, no, that didn't need to be there. This should have just, blazed right off into the sunset the way most of the album did. So, yeah, slight points deduction for having the unnecessary instrumental outro at the end of the album. No, no, no. You guys were doing fine without it. Doesn't need to be there whatsoever. This album is just an insanely fun package. Yeah, even the cover art with this crazy mascot looking guy. I mean, it kind of looks like Vic Rattlehead's never do well brother. He just gotta love it. Start to finish, a really fun listen. And I challenge you to get even 2 minutes into this album without grabbing the nearest broom, tennis racket, hockey stick, or other guitar-shaped instrument and just going to town on it in your best air guitar hero imaginable. Other things with Iron Curtain. I mentioned I have checked out a little bit of their previous 2 albums. This one sounded so good. It's like I wanted to see, have they always been doing this? And I've just been completely ignorant of the band's existence. Well, the jury's still out on that. I listened to a little bit of their previous album, Danger Zone. That one seems to suffer from sort of a lackluster production, to be honest. The songs definitely don't have the same impact as what we're hearing here on Savage Dawn. The 2016 album, though, does have a little bit more of this kind of sparkle and punch to it. So maybe, yeah, the production just didn't quite come together on the 2019 album. I'll be digging into their back catalog more, and I'm still very optimistic that there's going to be some cool stuff to check out there, with Danger Zone perhaps being a minor blip. Savage Dawn, definitely a big improvement over the previous album. If I had only heard Danger Zone, to be honest, I would probably have thought of this band as just another new wave of traditional heavy metal unit that was okay, but not really going to stick with me. But yeah, Savage Dawn, this is an outrageously fun album, one of the best I've heard in a while. But wait, that's not all, folks. Let's add a call to arms for another album coming out on Dying Victims production on February 23rd. And this is a band from Portugal. So, yeah, really kind of hitting the Southern Europe vibe today. This is the band Toxikull with their 3rd album, which is entitled Under the Southern Light. Now, Toxical's got a little different approach to their sound than Iron Curtain over in Spain. Best description for Toxical on this 3rd album is to think of like late 80s Judas Priest. For example, have you ever wondered what Judas Priest would have sounded like if they were Portuguese and they recorded a follow-up album in the vein of Ram It Down? If you have, you are in the right place. It works out pretty surprisingly well. That era of Judas Priest can be a bit divisive, but part of the problem with that is Judas Priest's legacy as, a very formidable traditional heavy metal band. When you have a newer, younger band just kind of jumping straight to that point and just like, yeah, we're going to stake our flag here. We want Ram It Down Part 2. You don't have that kind of baggage of, but this band did Stained Class. How are they doing Turbo at the same time? How can you do those both under the name Judas Priest? Well, Toxicol doesn't have that kind of mental baggage. So with, Under the Southern Light, you can just kind of, really revel in and enjoy the fact that it's got, those, definite pounding heavy metal chops, but it's not afraid to get in touch with its, sleazy glam side just a little bit, like Priest was prone to do on some of those late 80s albums. And the songs have, a bit of a varied mix. Some of them lean a bit more into traditional heavy metal territory. Yeah, some of them, lean a little bit more out of that. A couple of standout tracks that might get your attention. Battle Dogs has a really great sort of, chorus, pounding metal anthem to it.
We came for nothing. what we do, forsaken hell for me and you. They care for nothing.
Another good one is Knights of Leather, showing off, great range of, 1980s heavy metal goodness. Not, too crazy over the top though. There's not enough of a glam, or party sheen here to scare people away, I don't think. I've played the album several times, and yeah, I've really enjoyed it. They also aren't afraid to lean a little bit more into sort of the big, 80s hard rock vibe with a track like Going Back Home, which is one of the standouts on the album, even if it is a little bit less metallic than some of the others. So, at the end of the day, Toxikull Under the Southern Light, very fun listen. Folks that are enjoying some of these other projects in recent years that are focusing on a little bit more the accessible side of mid to late 80s heavy metal, I think they will enjoy this one as well. So, it's another bravo to Dying Victims Productions. 2 albums coming out on the same day. Both noteworthy, both worth checking out, absolutely. All right, that is going to bring this review to an end. I hope you enjoy Iron Curtain and Toxikull. Let me know what you think of these bands in the comments down below. If you're familiar with earlier material from the band's catalogs, please leave a comment so other folks can find out about them. Are there particular Iron Curtain albums that folks should follow up with? Is Danger Zone really just kind of a victim of bad production? Maybe I need to go back and spend more time with it. And what do you think of the other Toxikull albums too? This is their third. I'm not familiar with this band's earlier releases. Let folks know if those albums are also something that they need to add to their next order of Dying Victims production merchandise. That is going to do it for now. Until next time, everybody take care. And as always, check out more content on Heavy Metallurgy and keep banging your head.